Welcome to NCC lecture series. This is lecture number 40 and the lecture is given by Capt Binoy Varakil, Associate NCC Officer, St. Joseph College, Kozhikode. So this lecture we are discussing problems or challenges of national integration. Part 1, we are discussing problems or challenges of national integration. The previous lectures also we were looking at the different aspects of national integration, and we saw topics like national interests, national objectives and threats to the national integration. And today we are just looking at the problems or challenges of national integration. That is part 1. And part 2 we are discussing. Part 2 is of course the major discussion. We are discussing measures to achieve national integration. How can we achieve national integration? Okay, so let us just come to a small discussion of the challenges of national integration. So as we all understand, ours is the largest democracy of the world, and we are all proud of being Indians, because India has a lot to be proud about, because India is a land of diversities. Like we have numerous cultures here, we have so many languages here, we have people believing and practicing in many religions here, we have a number of festivals here, all right, customs, conventions, traditions and races. And despite of all this heterogeneous aspect of the country, despite of all this varied, diverse aspect of great India, we have so much of unity, we have so much of feeling of togetherness, and each Indian is trying to uphold that feeling of brotherhood, that feeling of sisterhood, that feeling of togetherness, that feeling of family. India and all Indians are members of one family. And of course we are learning about some problems. Yes, now that the country being the largest democracy, country having a number of religions, castes, creeds, languages, castes, and of course conventions and practices and festivals and celebrations and all that, there may be some problems, of course, of national integration. And we are looking at the major problems of national integration. The first problem of national integration is casteism. Before independence, of course, we had a number of castes here, and we had casteism. That is, of course, a kind of system in the society where, in which, of course, there are certain castes which are higher, and there are certain castes which are lower, like the Brahmins, the Kshatriya, the Brahmin, the Vaishya, and the Shudra. Such type of casteism we had. And certain one caste is considered to be superior to the other, and the superior caste used to, of course, monopolize or to exploit the lower caste. And we have, with independence, with the Constitution of India, no casteism, right? And sometimes it is practiced or it is observed by certain people in certain part of the country, and it has to end. And when casteism ends, there is going to be more happiness, prosperity, peace and harmony. So let us not believe in casteism, let us not practice casteism. It's an evil, of course, to the society, to national integration. And the next problem, second problem of challenge of national integration is communalism. What is communalism? Communalism is, in fact, a practice in which representatives of one religion or representatives of one ideology believe that theirs is the most supreme religion, theirs is the most supreme ideology, and theirs is, in fact, they must just continue, they must just prevail. All other religions, all other ideologies should not continue. And that is the kind of narrow-minded orthodox or fanatic kind of perspective we have in communalism, and this is also a great threat to national integration, because it will in future lead to lots of problems, riots, and of course violence. So there must be mutual respect, and no matter what religion, caste, creed, or ideology the other person in the other society or people believe, we have to respect, right? So communalism is the second threat to or challenge to the problem to national integration. Now we come to the third challenge of national integration, that is linguistic fanaticism. Linguistic refers to, of course, language. Some parts of the country, some people believe that my language is the most supreme language. My language has more status than the other languages. But we have to understand that this is a kind of fanatic, narrow-minded perspective. The Constitution of India is, of course, recognizing, admitting, and accepting more than 22 languages as official languages of India. The Constitution is admitting, right? So what does it mean? All the languages of the country have equal status. So let us respect the other language. A person who speaks Oriya should respect a person who speaks, of course, Malayalam or Kannada or Tamil or even Kashmiri language or even Hindi. Alright, so there must be mutual respect among people using different languages. And if one considers his language superior, that is linguistic fanaticism. And of course, we should encourage, promote, respect every languages. That is, of course, the kind of perspective we need to have. And linguistic fanaticism is, of course, a problem or challenge to national integration. Our family, our country, India is more supreme than our maybe one religion. Religion is nothing, all right? My country, my religion. That should be our perspective. And now the fourth problem to national integration is regionalism. Regionalism. What is regionalism? Regionalism is giving significance to, prominence to, importance to a specific locality or geographical area. If the central government is just considering one region, one state in the country, that is, of course, regionalism. If an administrator is giving significance to, of course, one region, one specific geographical area in the country, that is regionalism. So there must not be any kind of regionalism. It's in fact a threat to national integration, because if one specific location, geographical area is given more significance than the others, people in the other areas will be thinking feeling okay, just left aside, or rather ignored, or rather abandoned, and that would be leading to more problems. So regionalism also should end. And now we come to, of course, the fifth threat to national integration, social disparity. And social disparity and casteism is connected. Social disparity is disparity in the society, in the country, based on, of course, many factors like caste, creed, race, color, religion, language. No religion is superior than the other. No language is superior than the other. No race is superior than the other. Everything is equal. We are human beings, and caste, color, creed, religion, even money has nothing to do. So, there should not be any disparity. Any citizen of the country is equal. All the citizens of the country is equal, and the Constitution of India is assuring equality and fundamental rights. So, social disparity must end. It is a threat to national integration. Next threat to national integration is economic inequalities. And this is very, very important, because in our country, we know that India is a country which is, of course, having a number of rich people. Rather, we can say that maybe the top 10 rich people of the world, or rather 10 among the top 50 or 15 among the top 100 come from India. But we understand that more than 60% of the population of India is still in poverty. no food, no clothing, not enough housing, no education, and this kind of economic inequality. We have a gap between the rich and the poor. So this particular widening gap between the rich and the poor must end. Otherwise, there may not be feeling of togetherness or national integration in the country. So these are the major problems or challenges to national integration: casteism, communalism, linguistic fanaticism, regionalism, social disparity, and economic inequalities. So now that we have completed part 1, challenges to national integration, we are just coming to part 2. We are just going for a very detailed discussion of measures to achieve national integration. How can we install, or how can we instill a feeling of patriotism, a feeling of togetherness, a feeling of unity in the hearts of the people of the country? And there are in fact 5 important measures to achieve national integration, and all these 5 important points very important for everybody, especially for National Cadet Corps. And even the civil students other than the National Cadet Corps must understand the significance of national integration, and they should also take all these measures to achieve national integration. First measure to inculcate or achieve national integration is education. We know that education is, of course, the most significant reality that we need to have for growth and development. And when we are educating the masses, all right, if the masses are educated, or if the majority or the entire population of the country is educated, they'll be changing their perspective, they'll be changing their outlook, and there'll be more tolerance, respect for the other people from, of course, other societies. There'll be more respect, there'll be more tolerance, there'll be more harmony, and tolerance, respect, peace, and harmony will lead to growth and progress. So education of the masses is a necessity, a measure for national integration, and we must ensure that the education must also be good education. All right, so there must not be, we have educational institutions, and all the educational institutions must inculcate values in their student community. So there may be some institutions which are just teaching, of course, regionalism, fundamentalism, extremism, etc. That is not the kind of education we want in our country. We want education that improves the development of human beings, their intellectual development, their, of course, psychological, spiritual, scientific, technological kind of perspective should improve. Such kind of education, good education, is the kind of education we need, and that is, of course, always suggested and promoted by almost all the great intellectuals of the world. All right, and now we come to the second measures to achieve national integration, that is religious tolerance. Very easy to understand. We must understand the fact that our country, Great India, is, of course, a land of great religions like Hinduism, we have Islam, we have Sikhism, we have Christianity, we have Buddhism, Jainism, Parsi-ism, Parsi religion. So we have leading religions of the world in the country. And there must be tolerance. A Christian shouldn't hate a Hindu, a Christian shouldn't hate a Muslim, or similarly a Sikh should, there must be tolerance. We are just brothers. What is religion? There is nothing in religion. There is nothing in religion. We must have spirituality. And a person who is having spirituality will understand that the person next to me, maybe he is, of course, having a different religion, maybe he is practicing a different religion, but he also worships the same God, because there is just one God, and God is love. That is what we have to understand. God is not in the building. God is not in the church, mosque, or in the temple. God is in our heart. God is in each and every human being, and we have to find God in our neighbor, our friends, our, of course, all the people of the world, especially in, of course, our own people, Indians. And if, of course, people just fight and quarrel in the name of religion, what is the meaning of being a religious person? So being a religious person becomes insignificant when there is religious intolerance. So let there not be any kind of religious intolerance in the country. Let us, and we as youngsters must understand the fact that religion is insignificant. What is significant is love. Love for the fellow being. Love for, of course, people in the world. Love for people in the country, my religion. And with this particular perspective of my country, my religion, religious tolerance, our country will have a national integration and our country will develop. Let's have this kind of a perspective, broad-minded perspective to accept and respect the other person. Now we move on to the third point that is helping us to achieve national integration, that is linguistic tolerance. If we know what religious tolerance is, it's very easy to understand what is linguistic tolerance. Linguistic tolerance is tolerance among people to accept and respect the other person speaking in a different language. Yeah, I told you we have, of course, one lecture I told you we have more than 400 dialects in the country. Constitution of India is admitting, of course, 22 languages. Ours is a polyglot, multilingual country, great democracy of the world, India. We have Hindi here, Urdu here, Bengali, Oriya, Assamese, Marathi, Gujarati, Punjabi, alright, Tamil, lots of religions, and I would say no other country in the world is having as many religions, religions as well as languages. You're speaking about language, right? As many languages as India. And there must be, of course, respect and tolerance among people speaking different language. Let us, of course, promote languages, right? The Indian languages, right? So let us not promote our language alone. A Punjabi should, of course, promote Malayalam. A Punjabi should, of course, promote Kannada or Oriya or, of course, Telugu. Similarly, right, a person from Andhra should, of course, practice some other language. Like it is good if a person from Kerala can speak, all right, Punjabi or, of course, right, Oriya or, of course, Urdu or Bengali. Similarly, right, everybody in the country should just promote the other religion and their language, and there must be linguistic tolerance, and this kind of linguistic tolerance will lead to the development of the country. There may not be any problem if there is linguistic as well as religious tolerance. Now we come to the next measure to achieve national integration, use of radio and television. So these two, radio and television, are very common media, and through this common media, of course, which anyone can access, right? Radio quite available. Even the poor people have, the poorest of the poor is having a radio. It is you in your mobile phones, right? Radio. So through radio and television, we must, of course, promote national integration. How can we promote national integration through radio? We can, of course, broadcast different cultural programs, like cultural programs of Punjab, cultural programs of Kashmir, cultural programs of Manipur, Meghalaya, Sikkim, right, cultural programs of the people in Uttarakhand, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, similarly Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Karnataka. Okay, so the different art forms, musical form, dance forms of different people in different parts of the country. All right, we will just watch it, we will like it, we will admire it, and that kind of cultural exchange and love for the other art form and cultural form will, of course, inculcate a lot of goodwill and mutual understanding and respect in the hearts of the people, and that will, of course, lead to the building of national integration. So radio and television, or rather we can say that the the media has a great role to inculcate national integration, feeling of togetherness. And this kind of feeling like we are Indians and all Indians are brothers and sisters, that's what we say in our pledge, national pledge. So it should just be fixed in the hearts of everybody. And our country will of course progress with this feeling of togetherness. Now we come to the fifth point to of course achieve national integration, government initiative. All governments must ensure that each and every government employee, like the IAS officers, Indian administrative officers, the Indian police officers, of course people in defense forces, similarly, right, government staff, learn the languages of different states of the country. Like, okay, he has his mother tongue. Of course, he learns English. Other than the mother tongue and the English, a civil servant or, of course, a government employee should try to learn another language of the country. And such kind of governmental initiatives will, of course, improve national integration, and it will, of course, help all Indians to have a feeling of togetherness, and this way we can achieve national integration. So with this we just come to the end of the lecture on measures to achieve national integration. Alright, through education, religious tolerance, linguistic tolerance, and use of radio and TV and governmental initiative, we can of course achieve national integration. And as NCC cadets, of course, let us believe that my country is my religion all the time, and once a cadet, always a cadet. Let's uphold all these values NCC inculcates in us in all our life. Thanks a lot for listening. May God bless each of you. Jai Hind.